Welcome everyone to this free mobility class for beginners. I'll be taking you through the entire class so that you can start to benefit today. We'll be doing a warm-up, some practice movements, and then we'll be going through a little bit deeper where we push the body that little bit more. Aim to have clean, pretty movements. Make sure it feels good in your body when you're doing it. If at any point your body doesn't feel right, come out of the shape and wait for the next movement. It takes time for your body to adapt and for you to become coordinated to these body movements that we'll be doing. If you're going to practice this a few times in the week, have a day off in between so your body can recover. If you have any questions after doing the program, put them in the comments section and I'll aim to get back to you as soon as possible. Alternatively, get in contact with me direct. I hope you enjoy this mobility practice for beginners. This is just a touch of what I offer of online coaching and personal training, so do get in contact if you'd like to know more. Let's go. Here we go, do some body shakes. Let the knees bend, up and down, up and down, up and down. Let the hands be heavy, loose, shoulders, everything just relaxed. Moving up and down. From the side, it looks like this. Keep your heels down. Everything else just moving, even gentle head movement side to side. Shoulder shrugs, up and back. Do this a few times. Then up and forward. Really pull them up and forward. Swimming, keep your elbows bent. Then go forward. Helicopter swings, let those arms move your body side to side. The weight of the arms is helping to rotate. Lift them up bit by bit, maybe elbow bends, fingers pointing up. Slowly coming back down. Do some balancing if you can to get some ankle circles. So circling inwards and outwards. If you need to hold onto something, please do. Point the toe, pull back, point, pull back. Do that a few times. Then we're going to do a bit of hip rotation where you lift the knee up and take it out. From the front, knee comes up, take it out and back. Kind of a martial arts move. Brilliant. Other side, other foot. Standing if you can, balancing, circling, pointing, flexing. Awesome, and those nice hip rotations, lifting the knee up, taking it out, getting that ball and socket joint moved. Brilliant. Head movements, tilting ear to each shoulder, side to side. You can close your eyes to really feel it. Chin comes forward, slowly circle that head. Make sure taking the head back feels comfortable. Try the other way. Again, I like to close my eyes so I can really feel into it. Other people might want to have their eyes open. Cool. Roll the shoulders. Rotating. To take the neck stretches a bit deeper, left arm comes up, holds the right side of the temple, pulling that left ear to the left shoulder. Keep the shoulder pulled down. Right shoulder can push down as well. Feeling that stretch to the right side. Just nice and gently breathing. Release that left hand, push the temple back up. Other side, right arm comes up and over, pulls the right ear to right shoulder. Left arm, left shoulder drops. Maybe that right shoulder needs to drop too. Breathing, feeling through it. Really want to feel through these stretches. Be present with the body and just letting that breathing really go a bit deeper. Push the head up, roll the shoulders, rotating, and maybe tilting forward and windscreen wiping out to each side. Awesome. So hamstring stretch in a chair, sitting on the edge of the chair. So you still feel the glute, but the hamstring's slightly getting pushed. We'll take one leg out, have the heel resting, toes slightly pulled back, the other foot is flat. You can use the other thigh, the knee, to hold on, and all we're doing is folding forward. You might be able to bring your elbows down, holding and breathing. You'll feel it stretch up through here. You may feel the chair pushing into the hamstring higher, under the glute, near the glute. And as you breathe, you might be able to drop a bit further forward as time progresses. Maybe even reaching for the toe, pulling it back. Breathing here, it's more intense. Maybe the hand rests on the leg. This is a really good one to do. Other leg. That foot comes in and flat. The other heel goes out on the ground. Trying to have a straight leg, but not all of us will have that flexibility yet. So you're leaning forward, even with a bent knee, you'll still get that nice deep stretch up the hamstring. You can rest your elbow on that opposite thigh that's nice in there as a support. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Even as I breathe, I try to lift my chest and that will pull into the hamstring more. Variations, reaching for the toes, even just resting on that opposite shin, if that feels appropriate. Always listening to the body, always tuning in. You want to feel what's called a stretch sensation, not any kind of short, sharp stabbing pains. Well done. Slowly come out of here, sitting back up. Even stand up just to see how that feels. Shake it out, walk it out. Okay, wrist stretches. Palms are flat, fingers spread. You're leaning forward, taking body weight into the hands and wrists. From the side, looks like this. You may be able to do other movements with the shoulders, moving side to side, circling the body. And then we're going to change position. Fingers turning out. Maybe sway. Maybe move forward or in circles again. See how that feels. And then we're going to turn the wrist forward and the fingers are turning back as much as you can. It's going to be a huge stretch down the forearms. Leaning back if that's possible. Leaning forward and back into it. Do that a few times. We use our hands every day, so these are really, really important stretches. Maybe move your shoulders side to side over the top of the wrists, so you get a little bit more intensity in one hand at a time. Turn the fingers forward, come off the hands for a moment, give that a shake out. Brilliant. You can even do some circles, loose circles with the hands and the arms. Brilliant. One hand at a time, you're going to flip. So the right hand first, palm faces up, wriggle those fingers. My elbow is bent, but you might find straightening that elbow just adds a little bit more stretch to that. Try to touch your thumb to each finger across the hand and back again. And then maybe even create fists, pulling in. I'm bending my elbow a bit more to be able to get a deeper fist. Other hand, other side. Wriggle the fingers, back of the hands on the floor. Elbow can be bent, you might be able to straighten it more. Touch your thumb to each finger. Try to create fists. And flip it back. Give them a shake again. Awesome. So we're going to sit back, hands behind you, like so, fingers and turn away. Feet are going to be apart, and you're going to turn one knee in as the other one turns out. Nice and slow. You're going to feel this in the hip, the ball and socket joint. Make sure the knee joint feels safe. From the front, feet are wide, hands behind. I sometimes pull my toes back towards my knees. It just activates a little bit of the muscle down the shin bone. Keeps my knees feeling a bit safer and sturdier. Nice and slow in, nice and slow out. Brilliant. Cat-cow body rolls. We start with the cat-cows, basically trying to extend the spine, and then lift it up, flex it. Imagine it's like a plastic ruler, plastic pipe that you're bending down. You look up, the butt sticks up, and you're tucking your tail under, dropping the head, trying to push and dome the back. Breathe in to come down, exhale to go up. So again, obviously the breath will be personal to you. I always find that's the best breathing technique for me. Doing this a few times, you can hip swivel side to side like you're wagging your tail. If you've gone to the left, your right shoulder pushes forward, left shoulder pulls in. If you push the hips to the right, right shoulder pulls back in, left shoulder pushes forward. And that adds a little bit more stretch to the side body as well. Body rolls. Basically, this movement is taking the body up, the spine up, out to the side, down, and then out to the other side. So in essence, those 4 movements become like a barrel roll, circle, however you want to see it. Usually one way is easier than the other. And again, to start, if I show you front on, I always start up, pushing, doming up, and then I take my spine out to the right, pushing it out to the right, dropping it down, take it out to the other side, and then lifting it up again. So those 4 movements, 4 points, become the connecting points where you eventually, hopefully, be able to do these barrel rolls or circles, rotations. Try both ways. One way always feels a bit easier. You'll find your shoulders and elbows might start to do a bit more rhythmical movement. Mine bend, mine straighten. But the main aim here is to really feel it through the spine. If you're able to sit comfortably on the floor, we're going to do a twist, even if the knees are up and the back's slightly flexed out. Left arm over the right leg, holding that right leg. Right arm shoots around, you're going to twist. And you're going to try the other way. Right arm holds that left knee, opposite leg, turning and twisting. You can do this a few other ways. Feet out in front. Left leg's bent, left knee's bent rather. Turning, so right arm's either holding that knee or around it, and you're using that elbow into that knee to twist and turn. Explore, maybe the back is flexed, maybe you lift the chest up. Slight movements there. And from the side, legs out, say I bend my right leg, left arm reaches over, right arm reaches back. However works for your wrist. Chest lifts, turning, holding, breathing, exploring lifting, maybe flexing a bit. Usually the lift up will help rotate that spine. And then release forward. You can always do a nice sort of holding onto the knees and just gently leaning back, just curving the spine for a moment. Push the chest up, lean back, lifting up. Well done. So let's practice squats. What we're trying to do here is bend the knees and push the butt back. From the side, it looks like this. Knees are bending, butt pushing back. Eventually, you may be able to go lower. My toes are slightly turned out as well. So from the front angle, you'll see this slight turn out of my feet. And that just enables my knees just to track out slightly. Everyone's hips and ball and socket joints are slightly different. So just making sure knees feel safe, joints feel safe. You may even be able to get down all the way, nice and slow. You can support. Maybe the hips can drop further and deeper. Maybe you can eventually get here. Maybe it has to be here. Some people will be here, heels up off the floor. The elevated version, I have my heels up on a cushion and I'm slowly taking my butt back again, knees are bending. It can tilt you a bit further forward, so always be mindful of that. But you may still be able to get down and the heels don't have to be on the floor. Push down through the heels to lift up. Always make sure those knees are safe. Just keep practicing. Stop and have a rest if you need. Try it different ways, maybe coming down, lifting up, maybe hands on knees, just to feel safer through those joints. Arms can be forward as you go down and lift up. And that keeps and allows the chest to be more upright. If the arms are down, usually we bend further forward. Squat practice. Those wanting to squat with a chair, my feet are slightly apart. I'm going to bend my knees to lower, maybe hover or lower onto the chair. Exhale to come up. Squeeze your glutes at the top to push forward. Inhale, lower down. Exhale. Squeeze the glutes to push slightly forward. Lowering down. Make sure the knees and the feet feel comfortable where they are. 3-point bridge, feet are flat. Left hand goes behind you, fingers point away, pushing down, shoulder over the hands, lift the hips. Eventually that right arm can stretch back over. Keeping shoulder over wrist, lower the hips. Left hand behind, fingers point away, shoulder over the wrist, push down, hips lift. Right arm can go straight up, eventually over. Do it both sides. Changing sides, right hand, fingers point away. The bear. The bear looks like a downward dog, but we're also walking. You stick with what feels right for you today. Hands out in front, knees under hips, toes tucked. Lift your butt. That's a real basic starting point for the bear. You might then be able to push the tail up and back. The head starts to sink between the arms. Walk up and down on the spot. And that just stretches out those calves and hamstrings. The actual bear is going to be opposite hand, opposite foot. So left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. And that's pretty much it. Hand, foot, hand, foot. Slowly moving through space. Try it again. Tuck your toes. Come down whenever you feel you need. It takes a lot of strength in your wrists and shoulders here. Lifting the butt. Push the butt up and back. Trying to get that triangle or A-frame shape. The head is heavy. Just let the head and neck be soft. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. You can even try to keep the feet flat. Left hand, sliding the right foot. Right hand sliding the left foot. Maybe the heels aren't on the ground and that's totally fine. You're just trying to keep those arms and legs moving fluidly. And we'll go for one more. Lifting the butt. Trying to push the hips up and back. Push into the floor with the arms. And that will just strengthen the shoulders. You'll feel the shoulders shrug a bit more. And even try it from this position rather than a relaxed position. Shoulders are away from the ears. If you push down, shoulders shrug up.
left hand, right foot. This is taking a little bit more strength. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot, left hand. Eventually your brain will be able to work out how to walk. And maybe go backwards. You lead with the foot, then the opposite hand. Back to bear, coming back to this movement, having breaks when you need. Coming down and sitting back up. Trying the bear a few more times.
Depending on how deep your squat is, the monkey will look very differently. If you're able to do a deep squat, the monkey is basically moving from the deep squat position to one side and coming back into the squat. If this doesn't feel right for you today, skip it. To demonstrate, my hands go to one side, my left arm's coming through the legs, right arm's out to the side. I lift my heels and move my body weight across the top of the hands. When I'm ready, I push into the floor and I pop up. My butt lifts and I jump across. My left foot then comes in between the hands, right foot goes out. To come back, hands stay there, right hand between the legs, left hand on the outside. Take the weight, shoulders go over the wrists. Notice how I've sort of sprung up already from that squat position. When I'm ready, I take the weight into the hands and I pop across. You don't have to fully land on flat feet, as long as you're landing gently onto the toes, onto the floor. That's what we're aiming to do. We're trying to gently pop across. This is the monkey. Always making sure your body weight, when you move across, shoulders go over the hands and you pop up and across. If you're higher, knees may bend at a 45 degree. You can still get your hands down. You can practice this way, where hands, again, come. So if I'm going to the left, my right hand sort of in between the feet, left to the outside. I take the weight, shoulders over the top of the hands, and I just gently pop across. You may be able to lower at around 45 degrees. Be mindful of your neck. Always keep your head looking down. Try not to crank it back. This is probably one of the most challenging ones to learn, as it does take upper body strength. But give it a go. Even if you're in the squat position, heels might be lifted, you might be tilted forward. Make sure the head stays down. Hands come out to the side. My left arm is between the legs. Body weight shifts over the top of the hands. Notice how my butt's already lifted up. It's like a forward fold. Then I'm going to gently try to hop across. Give it a go. I'm not there to fully monitor, so always take super precautions. Make sure your head and neck, shoulders, wrists, everything feels safe. Obviously, if you want that one-to-one personal training, get in touch and we can talk about it through there. The side angle view of the monkey. This is deep squat. Hands come across. Right arm in between. I take the weight, shoulders across the top of the hands, and I pop over. You don't have to fully come back down. If you can, obviously, yes, that's where we want to eventually get to, coming down to that squat. If you're a little bit higher off the floor, but can still get the hands down, my butt's up, but I'm just popping across. Again, making sure my shoulders, my neck, my back in this position feels okay. Lifting up, popping down. Maybe lifting the butt up first, shoulders across the top of the hands, jumping across, popping across. Single leg balance, using a chair or standing in the middle of the room. You're going to lift the knee up, straighten it out, and then slowly take it back behind. Squeeze the glute and slightly lean forward. You've got a nice diagonal there. Lower down. Do it again. Same leg. Inhale. Straighten it out. Slowly take it back. Holding here. Glute squeezed. Come down. Keep going. Always nice and slow. So you really feel through the balance, feel through the movement, squeezing that butt at the back. And down. You can try it without the chair if you want. Come back to center. Almost there. And we're done. Change sides. Again, holding on, or do it without. Inhale that knee up, take it out. Find a rhythm of breath that works for you. Make sure the glute's squeezing at the back. You'll find a rhythm with that breathing that makes sense. I'm breathing out as I'm going into that balance. Inhale to lift the knee, holding to take it out. Exhaling to take it back and squeeze that glute and hold. You can hold for longer. That will just challenge your balance more. Also challenge the glute, the back of the body. Almost there. Done. Okay, the bear push-up. We hold that downward dog, a bear shape, and we're basically going to be bending the elbows and straightening them. You're trying to turn the elbows in to face forward, if that's possible. Your hands might need to turn out a little bit more. Elbows bend, come back up. It's very slight, and this is going to build strength in the arms and shoulders. So the bear position. Hands and knees. Fingers can face forward to begin, lifting the butt, and then from here, creating that shape where you push the butt up and back. Elbows, trying to turn them both inwards so the elbow pits face forward. Head is relaxed. Elbows are going to bend, and you'll notice the head starts to lower. Then you push into the hands to straighten those elbows. My body weight is far back. You can walk your feet further forward, so shoulders are a little bit higher over the hands. Elbows bend and straighten. My head stays relaxed. Elbows bend and straighten. Again, be mindful here, neck, shoulders, wrists, everything. The fingers might need to turn out a bit more, just depending on the joints, your elbows and shoulders. Feet might prefer to be walked back. And we're going to give this a go now. So if you've been practicing, we're going to do about 30 seconds worth. Time rather than number. So if you feel you can do one, that's enough. So lift up, get into position, let the head and neck be relaxed. Just move it around a bit. Elbow creases, trying to turn forward. Hands might need to turn out a bit. Elbows bend and then straighten. Make sure it feels safe. Maybe you're pushing the butt up and back further or loading the shoulders a bit more, loading those elbows by walking your feet closer. So you're just basically more over the hands. Elbows bend, elbows straighten. Again, take it slow to begin. Slow and steady wins the race. Not that it's a race, but when you need to come down, come down. Give the hands a shake. Any reverse stretching you need to do. Bear push-ups. A dead hang for 30 seconds. Holding, releasing, squeezing the glutes, slightly lifting the feet. Gently pulling the shoulder blades down, get that chest and rib cage lifting. Hold here for 30 seconds and then slowly lower. When you're starting out with a dead hang, hold the bar, make sure your feet stay on the floor, squeeze the glutes to tuck the tail under, let the body hang. The shoulders will lift up around the ears. Eventually you'll be able to do the pull down with the scapulars, releasing. Try for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, eventually head up to 30 seconds. Eventually you'll be able to lift the feet as well. Keep breathing, letting the body sink. Then pull the shoulder blades down. When you start this practice, always start small and slowly build from there. Making sure the body feels safe, the joints feel safe. As the body gets used to that hanging position, as the muscles start to increase, the grip strength increases, you'll then be able to progress further and further into the full dead hang. Okay, so the body weight dips are basically either hands on a chair, comfortable, something that's stable, and you're bringing your feet out in front and then taking the weight so the knees are over the actual ankles, and you're lowering down, elbows bending to about 45 degrees, pushing yourself back up. My palms, or my fingers rather, are facing forward this way, and it just makes my wrists and the hands and all that sit comfortably. You may need to turn yours out on an angle where the elbows still go back, but your fingers are facing out left to right. So you find what works for the joints here when you're bending. Body weight dips taking place. Elbows bend. Try to get the elbows to bend behind you, whether the finger placement needs to be forward or out to the side. 45-degree lower, pushing down as you come up. You're going to feel this in the triceps. Again, to make it harder, maybe your feet are out further in front, but that's quite intense. So keep your feet nice and close to you so it's only the glutes, the butt lowering down. And we're done. Sphinx. Coming up onto elbows. Basically, this is it. Elbows under shoulders, getting a back bend, breathing into the belly. Sort of trying to soften a bit through the shoulders. You might be able to move one forward, one back if that feels comfy. If you want to come up higher into the seal pose, your hands push down, your glutes will squeeze naturally to lift the elbows. And then you try to breathe into the belly still. At the same time, maybe you can relax the glutes if that feels safe. It's taking the back into a deeper bend. If it's too intense, come back to elbows. Breathing here. You can do some head movements in this position as well. Holding, breathing. And then just slowly come down and out of it. Lay flat, elbows wide, forehead under fingers, or turn the head to one side. Standing quad stretch, hold onto a chair or a wall, lean against it. Outside leg, bend that knee in. So you're holding as close as you can, the heel in towards the butt. To intensify it, try to take the knee back, lift the chest, squeeze your glutes a little bit more. If you squeeze your butt, you'll feel that quad really fire up. And we're holding and breathing there. If you need to soften the glutes at any point, you can come out of it slowly, come back into it, or just keep holding. And changing sides. Lower that leg, other leg. So if you have to hold on to something, or if you're happy to stand and balance, pulling the opposite leg in so the heel pulls in towards the butt. Maybe the knee can go back behind you further. Lift up if that helps. Maybe you're squeezing the glutes and tucking the tail. That will pull into that quad as well. Make sure you breathe. Make sure try and soften within the shape. As weird as that sounds, we're stretching one part of the body, we're contracting others. That stretch across the quads, but you're also trying to soften everything else in the body at the same time. Releasing that tension that usually builds up in the day. and then just lower that leg. We're going to do the figure 4 stretch in a chair. So I'm seated, left leg, ankle, going to lift up over onto my right thigh. That knee drops out. You're aiming to get a stretch in this left hip in and around that joint. You may be able to just gently move this knee up and down, make sure the knee joint feels safe. And then holding onto the shin, try to lean forward, push your chest forward, and hopefully that starts to feel that pull in under that left hip. So it's a variation of the pigeon that we do in yoga. You might be able to move your chest out towards the foot, so you sort of lean. You can have your hands balancing on the knee, on the ankle, maybe coming over towards the knee is more intense, just depending. Make sure your balance is okay. Some of you, the figure 4, left arm would come through the gap of the 4 and hold that right leg. This is more advanced position. Maybe you can use that to push the chest further forward. I'm feeling it deeper in my left hip, and even from here, I'm just moving that lower leg. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Gently come up, release that leg, do the other side. Repeat. Right ankle on the left leg. One leg will always be more intense and tighter. It's the dominant leg. Maybe you can do a little bit of mobility there if that feels comfortable and safe. Holding onto the shin, pushing the chest forward. Maybe that's where you get that stretch in that right hip. Maybe you need to lean out. Again, you can explore, like a scientist, exploring how all this movement, stretching, mobility, the impact, what you feel inside the body, on the body. Breathing. For those who want that figure 4 where the right arm comes through the gap and holds that left leg. That left arm wraps around and holds as well. Again, you might be able to do any movement there, or maybe that left leg can sway a bit. Notice the impact on stretching, especially after a bit of a workout, how you feel afterward. Release that. You can stand up and give the legs a bit of a shake out. Walk around a bit to repattern. Awesome. We can do a little contraction here. With the heel, push it down using the strength of your leg. You'll feel it grab here. I'm even going to do a slight pull back. My ankle slightly moves, the heel. Knee might be slightly bent, but I'm still feeling it contract this muscle here. Up the back, hamstrings, and I'm softening it. And it makes my body just release that little bit more. 2 more breaths. This is a really good one to do. Other leg. Breathing. If you want to do that little resistance stretch, push the heel down using your leg, holding that for a couple of seconds. You can do the pull back too, where the heel tries to slide back, skin of the heel moves, knee slightly bent, but I'm still pulling back, and that's working that hamstring. It's fatiguing the hamstring. It's a PNF resistance stretch. You soften. A few more breaths in that shape. Usually the body will just release that little bit more. Well done. Slowly come out of here, sitting back up. Shoulder shrugs, up and back. Do this a few times. And then up and forward. Really pull them up and forward. Swimming, keep your elbows bent. Then go forward. Helicopter swings, let those arms move your body side to side. The weight of the arms is helping to rotate. Lift them up bit by bit, maybe elbow bends, fingers pointing up. Slowly coming back down. Brilliant. Doorway lean. Lift the arm up and over, hold onto the edge of a door or a pole, push out with the hip. Feel the stretch down the side. In reverse, other arm comes up and over, hold and lean. A lot of this coaching and training is about you building your resilience as well as motivation to stay on track. We've all bought gym memberships before where we start out in all earnest in the first month and then by the second month we're not going anymore. The way I like to coach and train is to give you the options of setting your own pace. We want to make improvements and we want to make changes, but depending on your busy lifestyle and your children or whatever else is happening in your world, we can adapt and change the program to fit that. If this type of coaching feels a really good fit for you, get in touch. We can discuss the packages I have on offer. We normally need at least 6 weeks minimum to really start to see changes in your body, the muscle adapting, and obviously the movements start to feel a lot more freer and smoother for you. I take a limited amount of clients per quarter, and you're supported weekly via a great app that you can access anywhere in the world. I look forward to connecting with you further. Get in touch. Hope to see you soon. Thanks, everybody.